APAC region, going head-to-head with the newcomers, ZFA. It's going to be a Moonkin showdown. The only difference between these two teams being the Demon Hunter versus the Warrior. The Warrior bringing Mortal Strike and reducing healing effects. The Demon Hunter bringing utility to break Unix out of crowd control. Already starting explosively. Yo-Yo securing a Cyclone and Poon on the back foot.
Right, both teams playing these ult compositions right now, so it's going to be the battle of the ult, seeing who's really better at those ult compositions. Yo-Yo getting really low right now. The Avatar doing work for Sasaba, although Poon actually triggering it out as well. Both Druids just training their incarnations, trying to get a lot of pressure straight away. Excellent clone on Sam from Poon, getting a lot of pressure onto Yo-Yo, but he gets pummeled on that as well. Sasaba taking a lot of damage, but it's going to be that kind of PV war, that damage war. We're going to see who's going to do it better, the Warrior or the DH.
Right now we see a Storm Bolt onto Unix, actually opting to Trinket. He's very worried about his partner Poon dipping into execute range, which is when you're below 20% health. Warriors can use an ability called execute and hit you really hard. So Unix was terrified of that situation, didn't want to get caught there awkwardly and go down, so he traded his trinket, but he traded it on a less effective crowd control. Stormbolt is very short crowd control. You normally want to trinket something longer than that or use your trinket to connect your spirit link. So this is a huge opening for ZFA. The next Cyclone from Yo-Yo onto Unix could be potential kill opportunity for their team.
That's right, and he uses his Earth Shield Tome as well as his Tremor. I think he was trying to pre-Tremor a Fear right now, but he gets put into a Stormbolt. A nice Hex on Sasaba to just pretty much disrupt his gameplay right now, but he will be looking for that Root Beam, maybe followed up by a Fear. It looks like he's unable to connect right now, trying to pressure Poon, forces out the Barkskin. They've forced the Renewal as well. ZFA seem to have a lot more pressure going into this one, Sid.
But Mana is telling a different story, as Unix is squeaking ahead in terms of mana efficiency. Yo-Yo tossing a ton of damage towards Poon, but no crowd control on Unix. The advantage that Unix has with the Demon Hunter is the reverse magic honor talent. He can get out of every Solar Beam root combination with that ability, whereas Sam on the opposing team does not have that luxury. Unix still getting locked down in crowd control, and Darkness traded out by Streaming, the most powerful defensive cooldown on their team, used very early on. It could likely extend mana, but that still leaves an opening now, as that cooldown will not be available for another 3 minutes.
Right, and the Earth Shield Tome going up as well, but they have these kind of low cooldown defensives, the Barkskin, the Renewal, the Earth Shield Tome, to reduce a lot of damage and mitigate. But now a Root Beam onto Unix right now. Streaming is going to reverse that to help Poon stay alive. Yo-Yo taking a lot of damage as well. Nice Cyclones onto Sam. I love these clones coming out from Poon just to keep him crowd controlled. Nice disable there as well, whilst he got pummeled on the Cyclones right there. They're doing a good job stopping both clones from each teams.
All right, so Incarnation, the most powerful aggressive cooldown on a balanced Druid, is almost available in 5 more seconds for basically both sides. Things are going to start to get interesting once they commit those cooldowns. You can see Streaming getting swapped to for now. Unix preemptively preparing with Healing Tide Totem. He's recovered his entire team back to full health. He's more than ready for this, but this Incarnation could burn an immense amount of mana from both sides. Streaming getting crowd controlled up by Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo making a move across the same time to deny the removal of that entangling root on the silence. Poon and Yo-Yo now both activating Incarnation, boosting their damage immensely. Crowd control into both healers at the exact same time. Poon seems to be taking the brunt of this exchange, forced to trade out his Barkskin to reduce the incoming pressure. Now Barkskin as well. Incarnation still has likely 10 more seconds remaining. Sam falling further behind on mana.
Yes, that's about trying to get aggressive with that Avatar Bladestorm as well, forcing out the Renewal from Poon as well. Sam getting lower in mana, and it looks like Unitas GG are slightly ahead, but you can't really expect ZFA to lose this one just yet. They only need to get some more crowd control, but those Root Beams, like I said, Sid, might be proven to be too advantageous for Unitas to win.
Yeah, most certainly, as we've not even gotten to Dampening, and the Shamans are almost completely tapped on mana throughout this pressure. Streaming has Metamorphosis to activate at his own choosing. It's a very powerful cooldown for the Havoc Demon Hunter. He needs to make sure that he sets it up properly with crowd control and interrupts for Cyclones. Does not want to get denied on that boost of damage. You see Unix locked in, Root Solar Beam. Streaming with no reverse magic for 1 more second, jumps over, gets Unix out, then gets back onto target, popping that Metamorphosis. They need to interrupt the Cyclones. Good interrupt on that Cyclone. That's going to put Yo-Yo behind. Good crowd control from Streaming, really leading the charge for his team right now.
Indeed, he did an excellent job stunning Sam. At the same time, he locked out Yo-Yo, knowing he couldn't Barkskin, and bursting him down, forcing out the Barkskin lay and and the Ascendants from Sam. That was a great play there from Streaming. He gets cycloned up as well. The mana's actually proving to be even just as Dampening kicks in, but I think it's all going to be all about these incarnations.
Yeah, Incarnation coming up in another minute and 10 seconds, and we're going to be pretty deep into Dampening, and I think the Shamans are going to be tapped on mana at that point. Yo-Yo heavily far behind with the Cyclone secured. Poon dipping low as well, though, as both teams continue swinging. Unix caught in crowd control. Poon forced to trade out his renewal, his biggest healing cooldown to stay alive, but still under assault as Saber is pushing forward. Unix lining up some heals. Mana has almost evened out at this point. Unix had a significant lead, but that lead has been lost. Crowd control on Streaming, trying to pause out some of the damage and allow Sam to recover. 50 seconds away for Incarn. Poon gonna have his available first. He's actually going for a Root Solar Beam combo at this time. Good crowd control from Unitas. Nice setup. It's gonna snag them Barkskin from Yo-Yo and open more opportunities later on. They're actually continuing the chain. This is perfect crowd control from Unitas. Both Saber and Yo-Yo dipping low, but now Sam out of crowd control and likely to recover. It's ZFA's turn to attack.
Poon was doing an excellent job with those Cyclones to set up so much pressure onto Yo-Yo right there, forcing that renewal and Barkskin. And he's going to be in so much trouble. Sam doesn't have his Trinket either. He does have the Spirit Link to save him. No Urban Shield Tome for 5. They're in trouble, taking so much pressure. And Incarnations are going to be coming up soon, Sid.
Yeah, Unix has a good answer for it, whereas Sam does not. And Sam is now almost completely tapped on mana. Poon pulls the trigger before Yo-Yo's is available, but he's actually the one falling on the back foot. Saber trying to carry the team here in potentially the final moments as Dampening ramps up and both teams become tapped. Unix gets caught in a clone. Poon could be in trouble. Yo-Yo's boosting up his damage, looking for a kill. Will he be able to make it out alive? It looks like he's going to be able to take it out now. Yo-Yo dipping low. Good stun onto Sam. Triple stun into the clone. Perfect crowd control from Unitas, continuing the chain relentlessly. Sam managed to sneak in a Spear Link Totem, but Poon suddenly on the back foot as well. Unix locked down in crowd control. That reverse magic not available, but they're still continuing the fight, trying to press on with 0 mana remaining. Is Sam going to be able to handle the pressure? They were behind all game and suddenly pulled out a surprise kill, catching Streaming out of range of that reverse magic. Really nice play from ZFA in those final moments. I was basically counting them out, but of course Unitas want to play this out to the end. Sam with no mana is a good opportunity for Streaming to potentially get a kill, although I think unlikely. Sam caught into a stun. Yo-Yo needs to look to support. No Cyclones just yet. Unix, it seemed like their composition was looking good. Just a bit unfortunate timing there at the end.
Well, so what do you think it actually was at the end of the game? Because obviously, we talk about the advantage that Unitas GG had. I think their composition, it definitely, with Streaming being able to dispel a lot of those, even if you couldn't get the last one, should be something to work out for them. But in the end, ZFA just came out with more damage.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the main reason was just the kind of defensive play lacking in Unitas. They had the Spirit Link ready as well. So if he was just able to get that and the reverse on time, I think they would have lived. I do actually favor the Demon Hunter in this position because I believe not only the root beams, which are incredibly difficult to deal with if you don't have a removal for that.
And then suddenly out of nowhere landed perfect cross crowd control in a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take down Poon in the final seconds. Meanwhile, they were out of mana. Yo-Yo is at 10%. Can they do it again, Joe?
I think Unitas are going to be just cleaning up their defense play as long as they don't tilt. It's very important that they don't let that, you know, first defensive play that they lacked tilt them basically and just keep to their game, know that they can just play passive and win. And right now, yeah, that's exactly what we need. The reverse magics on those root beams to keep Unix able to heal his team, keep them topped off, and counter pressure with those incarnations and annihilations. But getting super low, having to use the die by the sword as well as the rallying cry. That's not a situation you want to be early on in the game.
Poon saw the Warrior Saber going for crowd control into Unix, so he preemptively kited into a position where he would line of sight Sam, then popped all of his burst damage cooldowns to force the entire defensive. Now Saber is extremely exposed moving forward. The next Solar Beam onto Sam could easily be the end of the match, but until that point, Poon is on the back foot. Unix doing everything in his power to recover. They need to restabilize. Solar Beam available in 22 seconds. Yo-Yo's is actually going to be available first. I'm curious to see how they cross crowd control the Demon Hunter. They can either Cyclone him or root him out of range of Unix to deny that reverse magic. If they can set that up properly, it could be devastating for Unitas.
I agree. I would love to see those Earth Guy Breeps coming in onto him. The same time they root beam the healer. That would be an excellent display of cross CC and able to get those kill potentials onto Poon. But right now it looks like they're just both gunning down for each other's Moonkins, both using Barkskin at the same time as well as their root beams. They're kind of on sync, using almost mirroring each other the entire game.
I think this is a bit of a mistake by the team of Unitas going on. Maybe not. They've got a lot of crowd control continuing on to Sam. But if they had just been hitting Saber this entire time, he had no defensive cooldowns. I can't help but feel there's an opportunity lost here by Unitas.
Could be an opportunity lost. Poon doing an excellent job though, finding those Cyclones as well onto Sam, but potentially going to waste. Now Sam just uses that Ascendance to heal them up, which could have potentially been even more cooldowns, like you said, Sid.
All right, Sam forced to use Ascendance before Incarnation. That means in another minute and 15 seconds, Poon can deal devastating amounts of damage to ZFA. Mana looking to be in favor of ZFA slightly as we move slowly into the mid-game and closer to Dampening. Yo-Yo jumping down. Looks like he's trying to get aggressive, maybe for some Cyclones, just getting through the interrupts, looking for that crowd control chain later on. He has Solar Beam available, so it's a smart move to get through the interrupts now before initiating the chain. Looks like they're going to lead the chain with Intimidating Shout. Sam locked down at the same time. Stun into Root, Solar Beam. Sam opting to Trinket out of that, and as we pointed out in the pre-game, typically you see Restoration use Trinket and Spirit Link Totem together. This decision is a risky one by Sam. Poon still on the back foot. Streaming not able to get the reverse magic. He got crowd controlled, now forced to trade Darkness. And if ZFA keep nailing these cross crowd controls on Streaming and Unix, this series is actually looking to be in their favor.
Yeah, both teams really in trouble as well. Like you said, Sam using his Trinket earlier, and the Incarnation from Poon is going to come out in 20. So if they can't survive that Root Beam, they could be in a lot of trouble. At the same time, in 20 seconds, Sasaba is going to have that Diamond Sword, but they could get a kill before. Anyway, it looks like Sam just leaps in there, catches a Riptide. Nice Cyclones on the Streaming as well, going to keep him alive for now.
Yeah, really trying to put it to him here. Yo-Yo activating Incarnation as a Stormbolt is locked down onto Unix. Poon recovers with Renewal, but still under fire. Unix getting locked down by multiple Cyclones. Trading out that Earthen Wall Totem should make his team much more durable. Sam locked in crowd control. Saber in trouble, caught into the stun. He needs to trade. This is a risky move. It's a risky gamble not to trade through these massive, powerful cooldowns potentially. But he manages to recover. Unix locked down with cross crowd control and Streamy. ZFA have cleaned up their game. Perfect setup by ZFA.
Yeah, Poon having to use that Renewal and Bask in there to survive, and he still needs to get topped off. Unix going to be out of that crowd patrol right now, doing the next job. Uses that Grounding Tome as well to mitigate some damage. Cast a free heal as well. He gets Clone now, but he tops off Poon. Meanwhile, Streaming looking very good as well. Sam actually getting lower mana because Unix did an excellent drink, and they make a huge swap over to Sam, but another nice Clone onto Streaming to deny some pressure.
Yeah, and that Mana Rift talent from Streaming is what is allowing their team to pull ahead in mana. It's a great adaptation, but Poon is in trouble. Cyclone on Unix, dipping low. Unix has held onto his Trinket to use that Spirit Link Totem in combination. He likely needs to. Yes, Unitas GG trading out one of their most powerful defensive lineups. Triple Intimidating Shout, unfortunately, was shared DR by the Cyclones of Yo-Yo. Quite a mistake there by Saber. Now they're going to miss that opportunity moving on for quite some time. We're not even into Dampening. Both Shamans are almost completely tapped on mana. Unix is much further behind on defensive cooldowns. It's still anyone's match.
Yeah, no defensive cooldowns for quite some time, but that drink earlier from Unix might be the difference to win this game. And now a Root onto Sam. The Root actually breaks, but he does get beamed on. Another nice Cyclone coming out from Poon onto Sam, and Yo-Yo is getting very low right now. These Cyclones from Poon are just proven to be devastating against AFA, and they could nearly win this match. They've just forced the Barkskin, forced the Renewal, and they only have the Spirit Link right now. A nice double stun onto Yo-Yo and Sasaba as well, and the Barkskin's going to fade, and they can be in some huge trouble.
Yeah, there's a big window of opportunity in 30 seconds. That Solar Beam on Sam, and they can gun down Yo-Yo. Dampening has just set in. Unix has a massive mana lead. I feel like, again, Unitas GG, they're in the lead. It would be their game to throw. Streaming getting cloned up. Yo-Yo trying to pause the game and heal up Saber. Try and recover through the metamorphosis of Streaming. That was a nice shutdown by Yo-Yo. Unix getting locked down in crowd control. Stormbolt, potential Root Solar Beam. They need to try and get Streaming apart from Unix, so he cannot remove that. He's playing it patiently and waiting. Unix locked in Solar Beam. Streaming's trying to make his way over. Manages to get not get it, and Unix is actually Cyclone. Streaming is dipping low. Poon ducks recover downstairs. Saber, though, in hot pursuit. Yo-Yo looking for Marklones. Streaming interrupts the chain. Really well timed interrupt there, allowing Unix a little bit more breathing room, but still potentially getting locked down. There's a Solar Beam of Sam. Yo-Yo on the back foot. Trades out Barkskin. Sam gets out of the silence, but into an imprisoned. Do they have any more crowd control is the question. Doesn't seem to be the case. No, a double stun. Streaming punishing the stacked up positioning of ZFA. Really nice double, but he can't stay down there too long. Unix not in line of sight, so Streaming ducks back. He's going to be going after Saber. He doesn't want to be stacked up on the Warrior for too long. Giving him multiple targets would be a mistake. Poon under fire. Cap totem for 1 second. Is that going to be enough? They get the darkness from Streaming. Another powerful cooldown forced out. ZFA, they're keeping themselves alive in this fight.
Yeah, that was the incarnation from Yo-Yo doing tremendous damage onto them right now, forcing out the renewal from Poon and the darkness from Stream. It's a huge defensive cooldowns, but now Yo-Yo taking the brunt of the damage, Streaming low as well. Both teams going ham at each other, Streaming getting super low. He gets the reverse on that root beam though, onto Unix. He's going to pump out those heals, keep them alive for now. But like we say, the manas have been equal now because Sam also got an excellent drink there to just equalize on that.
Poon falling behind, Cyclone on Unix. He's trying to reverse it though, popping his own incarnation. Unfortunately, the solar beam was mistimed on Sam. He follows it up with a clone. Clones the trinket. Nice moves from Poon. Yo-Yo in trouble. Barkskin looks to be almost enough. Spirit Link preemptively on the stun by Sam. Very well done. Keeping his team alive. Healing Tide Totem backing him up, trying to heal through the spread pressure, but everybody is in danger as Dampening starts to ramp up more and more, and the Shamans become tapped on mana. There is potential for cross kill in this matchup. I can strongly feel that possibility. Yo-Yo falling behind. Sam needs 7 more seconds. Can he make it alive to that point is the question. 4 more seconds, 3 more seconds. If he gets that Ascendance window, he can top his whole team. He's got it. He's holding on to it though. Now immediately using that. Unix lockdown and crowd control. Streaming needs to get over there as soon as possible. Nice reverse. Unix now can start to save his team. Sam, though, recovering with that Ascendance. Unix has that option moving forward. Unitas GG, I would say, are slightly ahead in this position.
Yeah, ZFA trying to counter pressure, using that avatar onto Stream, and then desperately looking for a kill. Poon dropping low as well, uses that renewal in bear form, as well as the bark skin now. Overlapped a bit with the Urban Shield Tome, but at the same time, it was, I think it was used well to counter that avatar, but now Yo-Yo getting very low, Streaming doing a lot of pressure, another barkskin forced, and he doesn't have the renewal for quite some time either. Both teams are struggling in 20% dampening.
Oh, Poon had an amazing usage of Thorns. Saber was forced to use Die by the Sword on Thorns. Joe, you know how much you love Thorns. That's going to put him very far behind. Sam is in a tough position. He's got no options left, and there's too much damage. Unitas GG punch back in game number 2.
1-to-1 here between ZFA and Unitas. This will not be, there's no formality of the 2v3. You can see the smiles on their faces, especially for Poon. This is a big win for him. His first time on the stage. Feels so bad to lose that first game. They need that confidence boost. You can see patting on the back here. They are back in this series. The first time that we're actually going to have both teams winning one of the games. It really has been so back and forth, Joe.
Exactly, and you got to blame Thorns there. As soon as he used that Thorns, they just lost the game. So, you know, proving its worth. And also, those little moments when Streaming doesn't get the root beam, I think what happened, he fell rushed into the root beam himself and wasn't able to reverse magic. And just those moments, it nearly came back to haunt them once again. It happened in Nagrand where they lost because of a small mistake, and it nearly happened here. But fortunately for them, they were able to clean up that defensive gameplay, like we said, and just take the win with this composition.
It's really interesting because you feel like Unitas GG should have the tools to win this game, but at the same time, they need to execute on the strategy a little bit better. Things like Streaming, porting back with the Fell Rush to get those dispels on the root beam and not getting caught up in the double root beams. It's not that easy. There's so much stuff going on. You have to tunnel down Yo-Yo, avoid damage from Saber as well. So definitely Unitas GG have a few things to worry about. One of the other tools I want to talk about a little bit, because you mentioned it in the cast hit, is the Mana Break, which is one of the tools the Demon Hunter has been using basically to try to get small advantages in this game.
Yeah, Mana Rift is definitely very useful honor talent for the Demon Hunter. Unix would likely spend more mana healing through Mortal Strike, but thanks to Mana Rift, the Demon Hunter can edge that a little bit further ahead for his team and make it more stressful. ZFA are the ones who need to play aggressive and in the match before their healer is completely tapped. It's just unfortunate for them. They got to the critical point where they had no mana and no cooldowns to trade, and maybe Saber could have made a decision to switch targets, not attack into Thorns at that.
Yep, it looks like we are going to be heading to Tolvaron Arena, and it is going to be that Assassination rogue. Too bad he's not combat. Could be a BB gun, but as soon as he's playing the Assassination, we'll be looking to see who he targets, who he's going to put all his pressure onto.
I was ZFA playing with BB guns and yo-yos.
I would think BB would look to go on that Moonkin mostly, It would be surprising if it goes on streaming, but they could do a root beam onto Unix with a kidney shot on the streaming, and there's that crowd control coming in right away. The kidney on the Poon, beam being used right away, forcing the Buckskin. They're just chomping through it right now, forcing that renewal as well. But it looks like the root beam is going to break, and the Vendetta and Incarnation already doing a lot of work.
Yep, both teams pulling a lot of cooldowns early on as Yo-Yo dips dangerously low. Unitas GG have all the momentum. Tons of damage, almost taking them out in a second there. Sam luckily connecting heals in the nick of time to re-stabilize his team. Unix tricketing out of that blind. Poon locked down in a kidney shot. ZFA have very excellent cross crowd control. Nice Cyclone at low health, making it difficult for Unix to recover. Now switching their damage to streaming. Does seem like ZFA are much more comfortable on this Rogue Moonkin. Yo-Yo is really on fire with these Cyclones.
Right, they did say that was their main composition pinging that Rogue, and the other advantage they can have is using those blinds onto Unix. Forcing his trinket for every blind means that root beams could potentially be good if they get some crowd control on the streaming whilst they burst, but it looks like they're going for Poon, trying to chomp him up, but Yo-Yo taking the brunt of the damage right now. A kidney shot onto Unix. Maybe they're making these swaps onto the Restoration Shaman. No Urban Shield time available. There's the Vanish Cheap Shot. Garot getting so much pressure right now. He's opting to use that Astral Shift, and he gets clone on it. Well played by Yo-Yo to read that and just clone him instantly, denying any heals.
Yeah, now into the root. Solar Beam is streaming out of position. He needs to get over there, manages to get to the side and get Unix pulled out of that just before Poon gets locked down in a stun. Ascendance from Unix should allow him to recover through this situation. Now it's Unitas' GG's turn to attack, stunning up Sam, but no follow-up Cyclones onto Sam. I definitely think Yo-Yo is etching his team ahead, whereas Poon is focused on sustained damage. I'm interested why Yo-Yo is not playing Thorns while Poon is. I feel like Thorns could be quite effective against that Demon Hunter, just trading out when your healer is crowd controlled. He has to make a decision. Do I attack into this or do I just switch targets? Poon now activating the Thorns as his healer is crowd controlled. Quite effective usage, putting a lot of pressure towards BB. Unix is getting gunned down though. Mana basically tied at this point. I would say momentum could swing in favor of the team of ZFA at this point with Vendetta available. BB needs to look to lock that down. I'd like to see Kidney Shot on Poon, Root Solar Beam on Unix in 4 more seconds, and an Earth Grab on streaming. So there's the Kidney Shot. They need to go for, there's the Root Solar Beam. Now they need to lock streaming in place. He's actually not even going for it. He's just going to drop Darkness instead and try to go 1-for-1 with that Vendetta. Now having to overlap Barkskin as well. Bit of a misplay here from the team of Unitas that could allow ZFA an opportunity moving forward.
Yeah, they use so many defensives actually. Streaming, Poon, both using their trinkets, Barkskin, Darkness, and Renewal being used, and not much was committed. Yo-Yo's gonna have that Incarnation soon, but at the same time he's getting low, needs to be careful himself. Nice Hex on the BB as well, the Croucher on the Sam. Yo-Yo is gonna get it, but the double capstone into a half clone that actually gets trinketed from Sam. He was just so far behind on healing that he opts to trinket it, use that grounding, and try and top them off. BB using his Cloak of Shadows as well as Yo-Yo's Renewal. Again, now both teams.
Your healer's trinket, I think, is much more vital in this matchup. The next Solar Beam, Stun, Cyclone. Sam can't get out of that while Unix can. Although now in a blind is likely to have to trinket that. That advantage basically lost. Gets Root Solar Beamed on the trinket. Oh. Nice play from Yo-Yo, but he gets Cycloned by Poon. They need to keep Yo-Yo out of the game for a couple of more seconds if Unix is to recover in this position.
That defensive cycle from Poon actually saved them. Streaming was so low on HP, so the clone during that incon was the only reason they're alive. So well played by Poon, and now they're reversing the pressure on the Yo-Yo. A full root beam into Cyclone onto Sam. Yo-Yo's just living in bare from Barkskin right now, but he could just die through it if they can reconnect the Cyclone. There's the paralysis as well onto him. Another Cyclone. Yo-Yo could just fall before the Spirit Link. He gets stunned again, and that was excellent crowd control coming from Unitas GG. Perfectly played to take this second win, and now they only need to win one more to advance in this competition.
Cannot say that about their performance in Game 3. What a game! What a crowd control chain. And honestly, I thought ZFA, I liked the Rogue. It looked like they were setting stuff up, creating opportunities, but it was Poon that came in clutch for his team there. And Unitas now 2-1 up. Any advantage that ZFA had from that first game is now gone. They have the momentum, and they are the team looking to advance to the upper bracket. You can see nervous faces on the flip side. Taiwan really struggling ZFA in this series. What do they do to change it up, Sid?
I think their Warrior Moonkin looked better overall. The big map didn't really do much for them. They were attacking Unix, so maybe they should go for a smaller map. That way the Assassination Rogue can get better uptime. The Demon Hunter doesn't care about a big map. He's a Demon Hunter. He goes everywhere. So I think the map selection might have been a bit off for ZFA, but what I really like from Unitas GG is they've matured so much over the years. They started off as a team that just rushed down healers. They didn't really have many other options than that, just run at healers and try and get early kills. And now a couple of years into their tournament experience, they're able to diversify their strategies. They're able to play these long games, get some good crowd control burst moments, and Unitas GG are looking good.
That was a beautiful cyclone.
Yeah, I mean, Poon's playing with Thorns as well, and Yo-Yo isn't. I think
Yeah, it's a big difference.
that is a huge difference, you know, hitting into that Thorns. And also, I think that Poon just played it excellently as well. The crowd control at this end here was just insane. Able to get a kill on the Yo-Yo through that Barkskin, through bear form, peeling BB, peeling Yo-Yo when needed to be able to survive.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is match point. Unitas GG looking to assert dominance and advance in the upper bracket. These teams have been quite evenly matched. ZFA need to execute cross crowd control perfectly in order to dismantle Unitas GG's defense. If they cannot execute perfectly, I think it's looking unlikely for them to find victory.
I agree with you, Sid. Unitas GG looking so dominant right now, cleaning up their defensive lack in Nagrand, and now have been looking very good. The Ruby onto Unix, nearly the same mistake happened in the Feral Rush in the Ruby, but Streaming does reverse that right now. The Barkskin and the Trinket coming out from Poon as well. Nice double cap stun from Unix there onto BB, and Yo-Yo going to force the other Barkskin. The Vendettas, Incarns are both being popped. Both teams just going ham at each other, forcing these defensive cooldowns.
You can tell the stress is getting to both teams, just using all of their offensive cooldowns within the 10 seconds, even though the Shamans had prepared more than enough to deflect it. So that opener not really getting too much done on either side. Poon activating Thorns, but then going for a Cyclone onto BB, denying some heals, but not getting to benefit too much from that Thorns. Yo-Yo is still not running his own Thorns. I see maybe if Streaming is running the demonic build and he's healing a lot, that Thorns might not gain that much value against the Demon Hunter as opposed to the Rogue and the Warrior, so that could be potentially his thought process there. BB getting bursted down though, trading out evasion. Streaming getting some nice burst in there. Sam not panicking though and only trading 1 for 1, which is fair. Yo-Yo now getting bursted down. Poon caught into a kidney shot. Solar Beam available for Yo-Yo. So what needs to happen here is Sam needs to root up Streaming or hex him. He's rooted right now. It would be, there's the Solar Beam potentially here. Sam, both Shamans locked in crowd control. Streaming in position though to remove. Sam in the Cyclone. Yo-Yo in trouble. It's match point. Ducking into bear form, trading out Barkskin, trying to reduce the pressure, but they could switch to BB. Nice hex. Yo-Yo needs to try and dispel that, but gets wind sheared. And they covered it with a Cyclone for a second. Nice play there from Poon, but unfortunately not able to net a kill off the back of it.
They forced that renewal as well, and you know, Streaming doing a lot of pressure. One thing about the Thorns as well, Streaming can just easily swap to the Rogue during the Thorns time and then go back to the Boomkin once it fades. So I think that's maybe why he doesn't pick that Thorns. And it looks like Poon is just going to get cloned in there. They make a swap onto the Unix there, catch him out into a kidney, but they need to get more pressure than that. And it looks like Unix is going to just root him behind that pillar, but he actually gets cycloned low at HP. They could potentially take someone else down, but they don't really have the offensive cooldowns apart from Vendetta. And he's going to have the Earth Shield Tome ready for that, so they need to be careful to use that. They use the Ascenders to keep him up. Poon once again with the Thorns, and he's just going to deflect a lot of that pressure onto BB. Yo-Yo getting low now as well, using that Barkskin. There's that Overshield Tome down. So what I would love to see is BB wait for that to happen and then unleash his Vendetta onto someone outside of the Overshield Tome.
Alright, Poon locked down in crowd control. They had good crowd control on Sam, but Poon got shut out by Yo-Yo and BB, both executing well defensively to save their team. Mana tied at this point. That advantage not in favor of Unitas as it was in the previous match. Poon ducking for cover, but he's stacked up. BB can attack 2 members. This is perfect positioning for the Rogue. Poon's opting to Cyclone him. Actually trinketing aggressively. He's got Vendetta ready to roll. Who can they go after right now? There's not really any openings in terms of defensive cooldowns for BB to exploit. Streaming, jumping into Metamorphosis with that I-beam, really leading the charge, punishing that trinket, stunning up BB and trying to burst him down. How will he respond? Trades out evasion. In what could have been his life. This is match point, a lot on the line. Poon now dipping low, forced to trade out Barkskin. Unix getting Solar Beam, Streaming, needing to remove that, dashing over. Now a cap totem from Sam, good crowd control. Unfortunately, no more follow-up, and now Incarn available for Poon. BB is an exposed target. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, he doesn't have that trinket or that evasion, so he is an exposed target indeed. Stream is going to be looking for those swap opportunities onto him for ZFA, and once again, Unitas GG are looking so good on this Demon Hunter Moonkin composition, and they're going to have that Incarnation ready, although Yo-Yo pops his first, trying to get pressure on the Streamer right now, but Unix is free. uses that healing tide tome, and now there's the root beam onto Sam. They could get a lot of pressure with this. They opt to go onto Yo-Yo though, who uses the bark skin and the renewal. I would have maybe loved to see them go on a BB, but he does have that Cloak of Shadows ready. Vendetta being used right now as well, pressuring Unix heavily here. He gets cloned once again on this Astral Shift. Yo-Yo's a madman getting these clones every time on the Astral Shift when he's low on HP, and there's a Spirit Link though coming out from Sam, and it's looking bad for ZFA.
ZFA are slowly but surely falling behind as Unitas GG look to secure victory. Streaming, pulling the trigger on a very powerful, aggressive cooldown, trying to execute for a kill, but he getting cap totemed away. It's going to peel some damage for now. Sam, and he's in a position where his team really doesn't got much to survive. Can he do it? He gets innervated. He's going for some healing surges. Nobody's interrupting them. Sam catches a couple of big heals, but now gets stunned. BB's in trouble. So is Yo-Yo. Everyone's dipping low. They get a clone on Sam. He trinkets out to try and save the team, doing his best to keep them in the fight, but ultimately falling so far behind. Solar Beam on Sam. This is match point. BB ducks for cover. Trades out Cloak of Shadows, hovering, barely able to stay alive. Yo-Yo now getting swapped to, and Unitas GG are starting to assert dominance.
Once again, the Moonkin saving each other. Yo-Yo had a clutch clone coming out onto stream, and without that, BB would have surely went down. He had nothing to survive there. So excellent job from these Moonkins. Yo-Yo doing a brilliant job with clones this game, but now Dampening's ticking in. Full blind onto Unix. He's actually, there it is. There's the trinket on the blind. That's pretty much expected to see. And I'm not sure how ZFA will survive the next Solar Beam route.
They're so far behind. If ZFA managed to win this game, they are legends. They're just immensely far behind. They may have a couple of opportunities here to go after Unix or Poon in the near future, with Dampening finally setting in. Both Shamans are tapped on mana. It could come down to who can get a drink. Poon denying it with Starfall. Really nice positioning there. Sam's getting pressure. He's caught into a stun. This could just be it. Solar Beam for Poon up in 2 more seconds. Actually gunning down Sam a bit, trying to catch him off guard and bait some defensive cooldowns, trying to make difficult decisions here. Now getting Solar Beamed. Unfortunately, he was able to get out of it just by an inch, and now he's not silenced. That crowd control is lost. Yo-Yo has his Solar Beam now. See if they can set it up properly. They need to make sure they crowd control streaming at the same time. They need perfect execution. If they can do it, they can definitely take this game. Yeah, Sam running out of time though.
Yeah, they're running on that time limit for sure. They need that perfect execution, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. They're just looking in desperation, survive and pursue. And there's the kidney shot on Poon, so it looks like it's going to be reversed. The Hex, though, onto streaming right now. It's not getting dispelled, and they land a full Cyclone. This is it. They could just take Poon down through that bark skin. I can't believe it. ZFA with that perfect crowd control that we were saying they needed, and they performed it executely. And I can't help but think that if the dispel on the Hex came out in enough time, maybe they would have lived and won.
I mean, both the healers at everything was exhausted for both sides, and ZFA come in with the clutch play to tie the series and bring us to our first Game 5 of the day. Incredible stuff from these guys. You can tell that they are maining this composition, playing the Rogue Moonkin to such exemplary levels. Fantastic stuff, great to see. But on the other side of Unitas, that's got to be gutting. You've got to feel like you threw that one away. They had such an advantage at points in that game, so close to taking down BB, so close to taking down Yo-Yo, and then in the end it just slips away from them. The victory at the edge of their fingertips.
Yeah, I mean, they need to keep a level head moving into the final game. Maybe they should go for a smaller map, but I still feel like the small maps favor the Assassination Rogue. I'm not really a big fan of ZFA's map picks, but the execution there at the end was definitely flawless. They were just falling more and more behind throughout the game. There was only one opportunity to win, and they nailed it perfectly, so well executed by ZFA. Moving into game number 5, I'm curious what map Unitas GG wants to bring this to, because I still feel like the small maps are not going to benefit them too much, but now the big maps have actually been burned through, so we may see Mugombala potentially for the first time today. I'm interested to see where they want to bring it.
I mean, one of the bits of advice I would give to you if you were someone watching World of Warcraft Arena for the first time is that the little blue bars at the bottom of the top 2 portraits, the 2 healers, is normally the kind of thing that you can use to tell which team is winning, right? Like if the mana is dropping lower and lower, typically means that your team is about to die, run out of healing essentially. But ZFA somehow, even though Sam was for a very long time in this game, just seemed to pull stuff out the bucket that, I mean, the bucket's empty. Like, how are they still finding stuff in there? BB still finds these opportunities. It was all 3 of them contributing to that. The Hex even coming in from the healer at the end being the thing to secure it. And now we're tied 2-2. Do you think that unnerves Unitas?
The FA It's a lot on the line here today, ladies and gentlemen. We're seconds away from starting.
Indeed, and whoever wins this game will advance and have to face Give It. So a long mountain to climb for either team anyway. Although Unitas GG, in my opinion, have been looking dominant. But if ZFA can get those clean goes once again, they could just take this one and be able to cause a huge upset against Unitas.
All right, both teams are just going to charge at each other at the start of this. Neither team relenting. Unix positioned far away, though, as BB moves in. He's going to stun lock both DPS targets. Unix locked in Solar Beam. Good crowd control onto the team of Unitas by ZFA. Looking for an early kill onto Poon. Unix denies with Trinket on that blind. Unfortunately, overlapped with Barkskin from Poon, which is a huge opening for BB because he was patient. He held onto that Vendetta. That's going to be a big punch on the next crowd control.
That's true. And Poon also holding on to this Incarn, and both Overchill Tomes going to go down. So I believe BB and Poon are both going to do a lot of aggression. But now there's the double stun onto BB and the Yo-Yo with a Root Beam on the Sammy. Trinkets out of it. So much damage coming from Streaming with that Annihilation, nearly annihilating BB right away. And he had to use his evasion, and he's still in so much trouble. What is this damage coming from Streaming right there? Crushing him through the evasion and forcing the vanish as well.
You know what that is? Poon and Streaming, instead of just popping everything right at the start, they waited. Sam's Earthenwall Totem faded. Then they popped every single button and started bursting him down. So much better execution from Unitas GG this match to get heavy amounts of burst early on. Unfortunately, not netting a kill for their team, though, but putting them very far behind. Interrupt on Sam. BB down to half. Any crowd control on Sam could maybe just close the match with damage. Tons of damage. Now Sam out of crowd control. Poon lockdown, Streaming lockdown. Unlikely that BB is in too much pressure in this position. Mana, though, in favor of ZFA as they start to squeak ahead.
Yeah, he did time that Urban Shield time, putting it before he got the stun. Get the double stun into so much crowd control with the wind shield on the Yo-Yo before he can dispel the Hex. That might mean that he wins. He gets a clone out of it. The CC from Unitas is absolutely absurd. BB quivering in his boots to survive right now. He has nothing. He is purely relying on Sam and Yo-Yo to keep him alive through this, but somehow, no! What is this burst? He gets stunned on Sam. BB getting so low. He doesn't even use the Spirit Leg. He's just relying on that Ascendant survivability to keep him alive. Great hold by Sam.
Unix lobbing in some lava bursts there to try and take BB out, but BB with amazing evasive maneuvers, able to stay alive in a moment where any other player would have likely gone down. Mana still in favor of ZFA, despite the burst being in favor of Unitas GG at this point.
Yeah.
Yo-Yo getting peeled away. They are waiting for that Earthen Wall Totem of Sam's to fall before Unitas GG lead for another attack. Poon has Solar Beam first, so it is likely to be ZFA on the defensive.
Right, Unitas getting really aggressive. I think that's the only reason why Unix is a bit behind Mana. I think he's using his Mana very offensively. Nice triple stun coming in from Streaming into a Root Beam on the Sam. He immediately trinkets that. He knows that he needs to keep his team alive. Although BB does have those defensive cooldowns once again, so they have that as a back foot, but Unix using his Urban Shield Tome now as well, and Incarn is going to be ready soon, so now ZFA could just actually reverse the pressure during the next go.
I'd like to see them go after Streaming as he has no trinket to activate defensive cooldowns, but ZFA still on the defensive at this point, getting locked down by both Poon and Streaming. BB opting to use his trinket in Cloak of Shadows. A very aggressive move from BB. Unix lockdown in crowd control. BB looking to maybe get a cheeky play here on Unix, sapping him 3 times, then maybe going for a kidney shot, trying to hold him in place as long as possible, while Yo-Yo does all of the damage, but not enough to take Poon down. Now we see Unix locked into a kidney shot as they are going to be switching targets. Yo-Yo landing some Cyclones, good crowd control from ZFA, but Unitas GG are suddenly in the lead in terms of mana. Damage following up, though, with Poon and Unix both dipping dangerously low. This is match point. You can't afford to make a mistake.
Yeah, you can't add. Oh, and BB using that evasion. He really doesn't want to die in this situation. The Incarnation pop from Poon. He gets put into a kidney shot, though. Unix using his trinket on that blind Ascendants to top off his team right now to try and stabilize. And he does have that significant mana lead right now. That drink just doing excellent for his team.
All right, Sam and BB both with no trinkets. Incarnation activated for Poon. This is going to be a lot of damage, and I don't know if Sam can handle it. His entire team starting to dip low. We're not even into dampening. He's almost completely tapped on mana. Unitas GG are in the driver's seat at this point. It's their game to throw. If they can keep up the momentum, They're looking to take this. Can ZFA find that miracle opening for a kill? They need perfect execution. They've got Solar Beam coming up in 5. They've landed a clone. This is the start. If they can chain it together perfectly, they need more follow-up. Yo-Yo gets interrupted. The follow-up has been denied, and now ZFA are falling heavily behind.
Indeed, and so much burst damage coming in on this Rogue. It's absolutely absurd. I think he's just going to go down. What? How is he alive? I don't even know. Sam trinking it out to get some clutch Riptides in, popping the Ascendants now, but I can't believe he survived that. He's just been the most slippery Rogue I've ever seen.
I mean, at this point, Unitas GG is probably tilting. This is twice now BB has just been able to stay alive in a situation where he normally would never be able to. Streaming, trading out Darkness, their most powerful defensive cooldown, for nothing. This is ZFA's opportunity. There was an opportunity. This is it. Nobody's got trinkets. They've got Solar Beam in 40. Unfortunately, that's pretty far away. They're going to have to wait quite a long time, and Sam doesn't have mana to wait that long, I don't think. He's doing everything he can. Poon getting crowd controlled, as well as Yo-Yo. Both teams just stalling, waiting for those Solar Beams to initiate an attack. Poon getting kidney shot. They can bait any sort of cooldowns. They've managed to bait Earthen Wall Totem. This is actually it. ZFA, they're lining up the miracle right now, Joe.
They need to be able to survive. I don't know how they're going to do it, but if anyone can pull off a miracle in this situation, it's ZFA. They've already done it twice. Will they be able to do it a third time? The Earthen Shield times have gone down, but there's the Root Beam. BB in so much trouble. The evasion comes out. He gets just chunked through it, using that Cloak of Shadows now as well. They need to make sure Sam is out of crowd control, so he's ready to use that Spirit Link whenever. There's the blind on the Unix, there's the Trinket, and there's the Root Beam. They could just kill Poon right now. It's gonna happen again. The Hex on the stream, and down he goes. ZFA take it. A repeat of Ashermane's fall. I can't believe that they did that. That crowd control chain is completely insane.
Unbelievable. ZFA reverse the series and win 3-2 against Unitas GG. That is honestly unbelievable. How on earth did they win that game? They can't believe it. Look at their expressions. They're so happy. Such a fantastic performance coming out of ZFA in that one. And Unitas GG, how didn't they kill BB? How didn't he die? He was on 1% again and again. They clone the Trinket on Sam. They get the cross cow control, but he's just running around, slivery little rogue, able to escape and finally secure it for his team. And once again, the same setup, that cross cow control with the Hex, with the Root Beam. And I mean, I'm speechless. ZFA, my hat's off to you.
Yeah, they just played it incredibly well. And one thing as well, the defensive plays, the reason why BB could live time and time and time again, I mean, it wasn't just this game, it was also an Ashermane's, it's because of those pills from Yo-Yo, those clutch clones coming in, making him survive, and also Sam using those preemptive Earthen Shield times. They just absorb so much pressure. So preemptively using it before you get put into crowd control is a huge reason why he's still alive in those games.
That was sick.
That's all, like, we could analyze that for as much as possible. That game was awesome.
Yeah.
That series in general, though, going to Game 5, having such close games, I mean, Unitas have got to be gutted at the end of that one, but I think we can all safely say we enjoyed that. That was a thoroughly great series, and at the end of the day, let's have a look at the end of the top bracket here. The only region that's undefeated is the one that people would probably have counted out at the start. It's Taiwan, with the victory on their #1 team and now the victory on their #2 team. And I mean, they're here to play. They're playing compositions that perhaps the other teams aren't so much, but they look very comfortable on them.
Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. I mean, there's a little bit of luck involved, but
No.
I mean,
It's calculated. Smiley face in the chat.
Perfectly calculated.
Oh, the burst.
I'm fine.
Look at this. He was at 1% almost his entire game, just running for his life, and then that 5-second window out of a 10-minute game that they're just losing, and he just pulls it off. Everything lines up, and they find the win. Just the miracle rogue of Warcraft at this point. ZFA stay alive in the upper bracket. Unitas GG, the reigning APAC champions, now have a second chance to battle it out in the lower bracket, but who would have guessed that in the first place?
I think it's very important now that Unitas just...
This whole highlight reel is just BB without any health, by the way.
It's going to be so annoying for Unitas to see that, right? There's multiple kill opportunities, and he somehow lives every single time.
Oh my God.
I can't believe it. And even if I was them, I would be tilted right now if I didn't kill that rogue. But they need to try and keep a level-headed
setup.
moving in that lower bracket, because if they allow this to tilt them, then it's going to affect their next series in a negative way.
That's one thing you got to say, right? Like, even though Unitas dropped down to the lower bracket, they dropped down in such a fashion that they were by far and away the most competitive out of any of the teams that are in that lower bracket. We're expecting them to bounce back later in the day and going into tomorrow. You've definitely not seen the last of this team, but you've got to give credit to ZFA at the end of that one, because it takes something, obviously a little bit of luck potentially to survive on that health, but then to kind of not get